lower half of a human being, from like the abdomen down. Everything else was gone. I'm pretty sure it was all over the floor and the rest of the room, and that's why the floor was slippery. But as soon as I remember, it was as soon as I lifted the blanket, I used the muzzle of my weapon to lift the blanket off.
He was just, what, laying on the ground? Or
yeah, just laying on the ground, like off to the side, covered with like just a blanket. Like, it wasn't a very big blanket because it wasn't big enough to like cover his feet and everything. It was just, you know, it was like just covering everything from his ankles on up to like where his abdomen would be.
Okay, yeah, okay. So
but when I lifted the blanket, it looked like the abdomen section like came to life because of all the maggots, and we're all alive and like moving around. It was sickening, and everything from, you know, there down, all the flesh was burnt, and it stunk like, obviously, like burnt flesh, and it looked like baked chicken. Like, it was some nastiness.
So the clothes and everything were just barked off or removed?
I think there might have been shards and stuff. It was enough to let us know, like, we knew that it was a soldier. It was an Iraqi soldier. And you know, come to think, I don't know if it was because we saw shards or not, but I know, like, the following day, that dude's brother showed up to bury him, but like, so that was the following day, like, or maybe I remember it may have been a couple of days that we were there, but I remember the people who buried him, like, they buried him, like, there were workers from this plant, like, came in like masks and stuff and like drug the body out and like buried it out in like somewhere not far from the building, and like the brother of that individual showed up to, like, you know, claim the body and stuff, and we're like, yeah, you know, the workers here buried him already, so you don't have to worry about it. But I remember, like, when we kept searching, we were wondering where the rest of him was. We started inspecting, like, how did this guy die? Like, what caused this to happen? Well, when we got into it, there was a hole in the wall right near the door of the building. I'd say maybe a foot off the side of the door was this hole about the size of a bowling ball. And what we ended up figuring out would have been what happened is when we stood outside and we looked through this bowling ball sized hole or basketball sized hole, it was through a block wall, and on the other side of that was another block wall with a bowling ball sized hole, and on the other side of that was another block wall.
So you had a line of just
oh yeah, we could line it up, you know, line of sight with those holes where it came from, and the round came from the bridge. And what we figured happened is the guy was shooting with an AK at a convoy with tanks on the bridge, and he just wasn't very smart. And, you know, survival of the fittest, he got shot with a main gun tank round straight through the wall of the building, and took everything but the lower half of him. We ended up finding half of his skull on the second floor. Like, we ended up like moving something. I think Lightfoot was the one who found that. Moved something out of the way and like found, like, you know, like half of his skull up there. Found like his lower found his half of his mandible outside.
Oh. These are things that just discovered over the course of a few days.
We started inspecting immediately, just out of curiosity, you know, youthful curiosity. Like, we were looking for the rest of him, and we found parts. And I remember I took the magazine spring, because I found the magazine spring, and I couldn't find the rest of the magazine, and then like I think Corporal Delfield made me like pick up the jaw, like the lower part of his jaw, and, like with the spring, and like just go gross people out with it. And that was interesting. It was funny. But anyways, at that same place, that same corporal that almost shot me with the Mark 19.
Oh, the track commander.
Yeah, what the heck is his name again?
Sedgwick or something.
Sedgwick? No, something Wick. I can't remember it. Anyways, I as a fresh Lance Corporal at that time, because
oh, you just got promoted.
I got promoted on the highway to Baghdad. I almost convinced him. Southwick, that's his name. 100% sure. Corporal Southwick.